Hi friends, this is Miss Follin, and I'm excited to share a fun rainbow project with you today. We are going to get to learn how to draw a rainbow and learn about the element of art texture. So let's first start with the supplies we will need. I'm going to demo using watercolors, but you are welcome to use markers or crayons for your rainbow colors. And then you'll need a pencil to draw this. And then I recommend either a Sharpie or a black crayon to go over your pencil lines. Now, one thing that's optional is if you'd like to create the texture in your artwork. So the background where you see the blue, I'm going to create texture using acrylic paint or craft paint and a sponge. And then also the clouds, I'm going to use cotton balls. Now, let's learn a little bit about texture in art. When we're discussing texture, we're referring to the way something feels to the touch or looks to the eye. So when you hear words like rough, silky, bumpy, and smooth, that helps describe the texture of an object. Now, rub your fingers across your carpet. What does that feel like? Or how about your shirt? Touch your shirt. So whenever I touch my shirt, it feels pretty soft. And whenever I rub my fingers across the carpet, it feels a little bit bumpy. Those are both words to describe texture, the way something feels. Let's begin our project by drawing our rainbow. I'm going to draw with a Sharpie, but I recommend that you start with a pencil and then you can trace over with a Sharpie or a crayon. Now, before I start drawing, I'm going to put my finger down to create an invisible line of where I want my rainbow to be. And I'm going to draw a really large arch or maybe a large hill. Do you see how I filled my paper? Now I'm going to leave a little bit of space because I don't want my lines way too close together. And I'm going to draw one more hill or arc underneath it. I'm going to continue to repeat this to where I have 3 lines now. And look, I'm trying to make sure that I have space, so you might want to lay your fingers down to make sure that you're giving yourself enough space for each rainbow color. I'm creating my 4th line, and I go nice and slow, leaving plenty of room. My 5th line, my 6th line, my 7th line. Okay, so you should have 7 arcs or 7 hills to create your rainbow. Now I'm going to start by using watercolor to color in my rainbow, but you're welcome to use crayons or markers. If you're using watercolor, you don't need to push too hard in the paint. Just make sure that you give it plenty of water and then nicely paint in between the lines the best you can. So, since the rainbow starts with what color? Red, we will go ahead and paint the top arc of the rainbow red. And just do your best to stay in the lines. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is where you can be using your red crayon, your red marker, any red paint, and just do the best you can and get it all the way around to the other side. Now, while you're working on your rainbow, I have a riddle for you. What is at the end of rainbow? The letter W is at the end of rainbow. Okay, we're ready to move on to the color orange. Orange is the next color in the rainbow. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just continue filling in each little area with whatever color comes next. So it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. Great job. Now I'm finishing up with my violet, or some of you might want to call it purple. And I just completed my rainbow. Now I'm ready to start adding texture. Now if you're choosing to not add texture, that's okay. You can go ahead and either paint or color in your background, maybe blue, since it's in the sky, or if you're wanting to add texture, then you can follow along with me. So what I did is I just had a household sponge at home, and I went ahead and I just cut a little piece of it off. And the reason I added a clothespin to it is so that my fingers wouldn't get dirty. I can just hold the clothespin while I'm dipping my paint. Now, you can use blue, acrylic paint, craft paint, whichever kind you like. And if you want, you can add a little bit of white like I did. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my sponge into my paint a little bit. And I'm going to start going up and down like a bunny. Just hop up and down, and I'm getting that texture. Look at those different marks. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is that you're not pulling your sponge along. If you pull your sponge, then you're not going to get the effect that we're wanting in our texture. We want to go up and down. Okay? So just go up and down, and I'm following along all right outside of my rainbow, and I put a piece of construction paper underneath my rainbow so that whenever I'm adding my sponge, it's okay if I get out of the lines a little bit. That way I'm not going to get it on the table. So I don't need a ton of paint, I just dip a little bit in at a time. And now I'm creating that texture background where it looks like clouds in the sky. I'm going to fill in right in between my rainbow, right in between where the purple is. And then I'll also do the bottom of my rainbow. And then I'm going to set it to the side to dry. Alright, now that I'm done with my background, I can put the sponge aside, and either you can let it dry and add your cotton balls with glue, or if you would like, with your paint still wet, you can take your cotton ball, and I pull mine apart a little bit, that way it can take up a little bit more space, and you can either add a little glue to it, or you can just lay it right down on top of the wet paint, right where your rainbow meets the sky, at the end of each side. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to pull that cotton ball a little bit, just enough to widen it up. And again, if you want to either use a little paint to get that area wet, or a little glue, and then you can put down your cotton ball. And I just press down, and then I have clouds at the end of my rainbow. Ta-da! And now we're done. So I hope you had fun creating your rainbow and learning about texture and art, and I look forward to the next lesson with you.